Everyone says the future is all gadgets and convenience, myself included. But here's one area I can no longer justify a gadget for: shaving my head. I ditched my $30 a month Freebird shaver for a $3 a month razor and shaving cream. And the results? Way better for less money and barely more effort. But before we get into why I switched, how it went over the course of a month of shaving my head with a shaving cream and a razor every other day for the first time in over 19 months, how I settled into the routine, and what I learned from the experience, be sure to give this video a like. Comment where you think fancy gadgets are overkill. I know that I've raged a lot against technophobia, and I'm not saying you should never use something like a Freebird or a Remington, but before I talk about why I switched and how it went over the course of the month, be sure to give this video a like. Comment what you think about all this, whether you think I'm overthinking this or something like that. Don't forget to subscribe for cultural commentary and rants from a man caught between generations. And last but certainly not least, feel free to join me at the Zillennial Nexus Point Discord. Link will be in the description below. Anyway, at 28, still living at home, every dollar counts. Like, sometimes I like to pretend I'm the Fremen and the money is water. If you've seen Dune, you know what I'm talking about. No, I don't worship money or consider it sacred, but I do try to reclaim every penny. And $30 a month on replacement blades was insane for the Freebird rotary shaver, especially when shaving your head is supposed to be cheaper than going to the barber shop. I bought the Freebird in 2022 for effortless convenience, but realized the old school way wasn't actually broken, despite the fact that it's always been done this way is a terrible argument, and I stand by what I said about that. Here's what I did. I actually tried the new thing for 19 months. So from early 2024 up until the end of July. And it was the best way to confirm I should never have switched. I should always have gone for the store brand razors and shaving cream. So my goal with all of this was to see if I can work with something I could buy at literally any supermarket or pharmacy across the country, rather than something only sold on Amazon and the official Freebird website. Yeah, comment if you happen to have seen Freebird replacement blades and the shaver itself sold in physical stores. I mean, yeah, I'm all for online ordering, but sometimes you have to pick up things right away. Or, in my case, I also prefer the fact that I can get loyalty points at my supermarket for when I purchase the shaving materials. So, there's that. Anyway, the first shave, I lathered up my scalp with shaving cream for the first time in over a year and a half. Glided the razor over my scalp, getting more hairs than the Freebird could have hoped to get. And then I rinsed and repeated. It was kind of meditative, I'm not gonna lie. It's not just a shave, it's a ritual, a choice to put effort into myself while still time maxing by not dealing with hiding bald spots or pissing away money on hair regrowth solutions, a term I use loosely. Oh, and not having to go to the barber shop, whether it's the effort of going over there and getting the getting it done or the cost of it. Because I have not had my hair cut by a barber since I was 17. I grew it out really long until towards the end of 2015 when I was 18, and I went shorter and shorter over the years until I was 24, and well, I knew it was over for me, and I had a hard time watching myself on camera. So yeah, basically, I had prolonged regret over chasing overpriced engineering over quality, simplicity, and having to spend 10 times per month what it costs. Now, r slash bald has been telling me that I apparently could have used them for longer, but I swear it said to replace them once every month. But even then, let's say I looked at the Freebird website, said about 50 shaves, so that's about 100 days. So that's still about $30 after tax for 3 months compared to effectively $3 a month for a 3-pack of store brand 5-blade razors and a store brand can of shaving cream for a grand total of about $9 after tax. Let that sink in. On top of that, the stubble was way less noticeable on beard trim day. The quality was better than the speed that the Freebird promised. Which another thing I just realized is without being able to clean the hairs out properly because I was given a hard time about getting the hairs from that in the sink and worse down the drain. I was able to figure out a workaround with that for the shaving cream and a razor that we'll talk about in a bit. But yeah, the cleanup is also shorter. By the end of the first week, I realized that faster isn't always better, depending on how much faster it is in comparison. Effort does have some value, believe it or not, and I can still do it quickly without hurting myself. It's not like the breakfast taco versus the microwave breakfast sandwich where I talked about in my video about why I gave up on cooking at home as a 28-year-old man living at home. Because the breakfast taco took a solid 20 minutes compared to the about 3 in total it does to microwave it for a minute and a half while I get the coffee ready and then let it cool off while I finish the coffee. Finish making it, that is. Yeah, the machine seemed less messy when I first bought it due to the lack of shaving cream required, but the results were just not as good. And again, living at home, when space is tight, I have to be very resourceful with storing things. The razor and the shaving cream take up less space. It feels clean, self-contained, and easy. And I developed the system for keeping the hairs from getting in the drain by soaking the razor in a small cup of hot water when it needed rinsing, rather than rinsing it directly over the sink. And then, when I'm done, I stick a wad of toilet paper into the cup to absorb the water, and I throw the whole thing out. So, I would assume zero hair is getting into the drain. I am very proud of this workaround. Yeah, we've been sold the lie that expensive equals better when, in reality, store brand materials available everywhere shaving materials are sold gets the job done. Shaving my head smooth feels like reclaiming dignity in a way. It's kind of a chore, but it's care to go all the way and stick it to male pattern baldness. The Freebird oversold time maxing, but failed to account for the hairs in the sink from rinsing it that drew unnecessary ire from my mother. I know there might be a hater out there who says to just move out, bruh, like some of the comments I unfortunately had to delete from the Why Single Men Are Shamed for Living at Home video. But quite frankly, I also think that it's good practice to avoid having to deal with unclogging the drain yourself. Or if you rent a place, having to call the landlord and then explain the situation, and then they have to do it, and it draws unwanted ire. I found a workaround that doesn't get any hair in the sink, and I get better results for almost no extra time. So by the midpoint of the month, it was feeling smoother, less irritated, and the finish was way cleaner. Not to mention, I was so glad I didn't have to spend $30 every month, or even the 10 that it comes out to, assuming that 50 shaves is accurate from the Freebird website, which would have brought it to $10 a month effectively for getting a new one every 3 months. But yeah, $3 a month versus $10 a month. You let me know which is the bigger, better deal. Yeah, good shaving of my head does not change my situation, but it does change how I face it. One, it changes how I face seeing myself with compared to the male pattern baldness, but also it's a more meditative and transformative process than just running the electric thing over the head. Oh, also you have to recharge it, the Freebird, so there's that. That's one less battery I have to deal with. Okay, I still use it for shaving other things or trimming it, because I already spent the money. I may as well use it until the motor burns out. Or maybe I'll just go down to the brawn I use for my beard and then recycle the Freebird shaver battery at the Home Depot. Yeah, my presence feels the same with it, but the ritual does add a little self-respect. Overall, the Freebird proves that sometimes the old-fashioned way does work better, despite the argument of, but it's always been done this way, being a terrible argument. I put the new way into practice for an extended period of time first, so I can speak from experience with both, and I can safely say shaving cream and the razor is not only more meditative, more exciting, it's also drastically cheaper, no matter how much the big rotary shaver companies try and push it. The fact is, you only really need store brand razors and store brand shaving cream, way cheaper than the name brands. I mean, I think I spent $48 for a year's worth of Gillette 5 blades when I started in 2021. Again, this was with name brand Gillette. Amazon Basics might also be a good idea. I used those. But yeah, just store brand, 5 blade, whatever you can get from the grocery store, pharmacy. That's the way to go. I thought I would only get like 3 weeks worth of shaves out of each one, but no, I managed to get a full month from a single blade, beating the system and making it even $2 before tax per month, at least for the razors. You do the math for the shaving cream, it's less than $1. Again, the total with the shaving cream factored in, assuming you can make that last the full 3 months, is about $3 per month. Yes, proof you can still control small victories even when you don't control the big stuff. Discipline is better than gadgets, and effort is better than shortcuts that don't actually provide any real benefit. Like mobile ordering, or ordering at the kiosk, that is a shortcut that provides the benefit of being able to customize your order as you see fit, or order it ahead of time and schedule it like I did when I went to Blaze Pizza after Jaws the Mugar Omni Theater. So yeah, the takeaway of all this, smoother results, way lower costs, and a stronger sense of self. Just because you can use a rotary shaver doesn't mean you should spend more money to do something store brand razors and store brand shaving cream can achieve, and again is sold pretty much everywhere shaving supplies are sold. The whole point of shaving my head is to spend way less than the barber visits if my hairline's already gone. $9 for 3 months of razors and cream versus 30 a month for replacement blades. 10 if you stretch it to 3 months. Which one's the scam? You let me know in the comments. So, I'm going to wrap it up for here. Thanks for watching. Be sure to give this video a like. Subscribe for cultural commentary and rants from a man caught between generations. And last but certainly not least, feel free to join me at the Zillennial Nexus Point Discord. Link will be in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.